Mate, you fresh? Had your break?
Yeah, fresh as anything. I don't know, the long turnaround was great at the start because we got 4 days off after, a lot of travel and being away, and the boys deserved it. And then now it's been a long turnaround into the Bronx, so we're pretty keen to get going and get playing again. So game can't come quick enough now.
Yeah. Mate, just tell us about the competition before we get into Brisbane. Tell us about the competition. You've got such an even spread, like 2 points in the top 8, only 4 separating the top 15. The competition this year is something special.
Yeah, I think the quality of footballs too. I think the fans are enjoying how close the games are. It hasn't been a lot of blowout games. I think it's definitely showing how even it is. I still believe it's going to work itself out, but I keep saying that every week and it hasn't. I feel like teams are going to kick away and you're going to find out the real quality. But we're at Origin time now, so now there's a new period, and I'm not sure that's going to quite happen at the moment. But after Origin, I reckon you'll sort out the best teams from the ones who are struggling. But it's just really even. Like the buys are hard to follow the ladder, I feel like, because there's so many buys and the different teams got every week, and you don't know where everyone's sitting. But I think it's great for the game that it's so even, and if you're a fan, you feel like you're only 1 win out of the 8, or you're very close. But also, if you're in the top 4, you're like, I'm 1 win from missing the 8. That's how close it is. Yeah.
Mate, Izzy got me to ask you this question. Like, you're going back down to his home, the Hawke's Bay. His dad's down there with his sister, and they, went through all that hard time down there. Have you guys spoke about that? You've got, Kevin Tamatu, who's a stalwart of the game, played for the Kiwis, and of course Tohu's going home. How much emphasis has the Warriors put on this game this week? Yeah,
so we spoke about it the moment it was announced, or once we first told the boys we're going there, and then obviously that area went through a lot of heartache, like you mentioned, a couple of times really. So we want to give them something to smile about. I'm sure they're all still rebuilding and doing different things, so it's an opportunity for us to go down and give some entertainment and give them something to get excited about. And then also, like you said, like you got Tohu and you got some of our great players for New Zealand that all come from that area. So we've got a couple of things that we want to do down there that are very special. So we're excited about it.
It's a big week for you going back home after what the whole community have been through. How excited are you to get back and give back?
Yeah, no, really excited. They've obviously had a terrible thing happen down there, and as has a lot of the country. But it hits close to heart, knowing that like people down in the Bay have been affected so severely. So any way that we can give back, I'm sure the club will be willing to do so. But it's great to sort of bring some excitement to the area again, especially after so many families have been affected lately.
Today that Chanel Harris-Tavita is coming back to the club. You played with him for quite a long time. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah,
it's pretty exciting. He's a good person first and foremost, and one trait that he does have, he's an extremely hard worker. So I'm sure he'll pick things up pretty fast, and he'll be pretty prepared before we get back into pre-season next year. So he won't come. He won't come just fresh off a break. He'll be ready and raring to go.
I think one thing we've learnt this year, you've got to have depth, and particularly in the halves, it's such an important position. Chanel offers that. I mean, Chanel could play fullback, lock, he could play hooker, he could play just about anything. But he is a half, and we just feel like he's going to add great depth for us. He's also a left foot kicking on that side of the field, so that adds a different dimension to our team. But yeah, one thing we've learned, he's got to have depth in key positions, and he's going to be great for us.
Cool. So where does this leave Shaun Johnson, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I mean, the way Shaun and I have kept this dialogue is we're just going to keep working it out as we go. If Shaun's playing well and he wants to keep going, then we'll work that out later. If he's doing the business, there's always a spot here for Shaun. We'll work that out. But right now, we've got to have a plan, and Chanel's part of that plan, so that's great. But the dialogue between Shaun and I is just ongoing, and the way we work together is just open, honest feedback, and it'll work itself out at the right time. And when we know that, we'll let everyone know. We're not recruiting over the top of people, saying that they're not good enough, we don't want you here. So we're going to go and get someone else. We're recruiting to add depth and quality. So there's we've got to have good people at our club, and he certainly fits that. We've got to have competitive people, and he certainly fits that. And he can play in more than one position. So we're not saying to the current group, and we've been strong on that, you're not good enough, we need to come over the top. We're saying let's add some depth to it. So, people can get excited about him coming back, but we've got complete belief in what we've currently got here as well.
Hey, Freddie, how have you found the competition this year? You know, like it's got pretty quick in and around the middle of the ruck, and you're in there most of the time. What are the main differences in and around that ruck area while you're coming out of dummy half?
I just think each year the game's it's building, it's getting faster and faster. Players are getting fitter, stronger. The game's gone to a new level, and fatigue starts to set in, and you start to see cues and stuff around the ruck. And I think you've got to be on your ball and take those opportunities.
And how's it for a hooker? How important is it to understand plays like Addin Fonua-Blake and Tohu Harris? You know, when Dills comes off the bench, Dills walking, passes that football. How's it important for the hooker to be switched on when those plays happen?
Yeah, I think it's important you to build those combinations at training and obviously during pre-season, and you got to understand each player and what they want. I think it's just building combinations and getting to know them, how they want to play.
Can I get a measure of where this forward pack is compared to all the other teams that you're playing? Like there's 16 points at the top and 8 at the bottom. Like it's pretty even right through, but where do you rate your forward pack compared to the rest of the forward packs in the comp?
Yeah, I definitely think we're one of the best forward packs. I've been saying that. You got to be consistent each week. I think that shows who's up the top and who's down the bottom. You need to be consistent each week with your performances, attack and defence. And that's something we're building on, and we want to nail and get right.
I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Like, there's 11 players of Samoan and Tongan descent playing in Origin next Wednesday, and of course you guys head up to England next year with Tonga. What is the importance of making sure that those boys don't get lost to Origin and they stay true to what you guys are trying to create with the Tongan team?
Oh yeah, it's I think it's pretty important that they play where they want to play. Obviously, everyone knows the importance of playing for their country, but we also think it's really important that they get to go out there and represent their state of origin. Obviously Queensland or New South Wales, wherever they came from. But it's important for their career as well. Having an origin on your resume is worth so much these days, and that's pretty elite in itself to get named in the origin. A lot of players know that that's the pinnacle of the game. But so whoever usually does get picked in that, the boys always encourage them to go and play there and put their best foot forward, because like I said before, that is pretty much the pinnacle of our game.
Just a last one from me. With Payne Haas not there, would have been were you looking forward to that battle up against Payne in this game, or you've got to wait for another chance now to test yourself out against him? Everyone's talking about him being the benchmark. I'm pretty sure that you'll be pretty close to that yourself.
Yeah, no, look, Payne's obviously the number one in the game for a reason. I think he's the best player in the game at the moment. So, I was looking forward to coming up against him. Obviously, the Origin timing, like I said, he's on the biggest stage. He's going to do his thing. So I wish him all the best, and hopefully we cross paths further down the track.
Mate, you're going well. You're playing pretty good in the middle of the park. And I just asked a question of Freddy Lussick before. Rating your forward pack at the moment compared to some of the good forward packs you've been behind at Melbourne and, of course, here at the Warriors. How does this forward pack rate?
Yeah, we've got an extremely good forward pack. Like we have the potential to be one of the best packs in the game, and obviously every team has that desire to have the best forward pack in the game, but I do truly think we're not far off it. Guys like Big Addin back there, he can sort of do as much damage as any front row in the competition. So that's always a good start to have a front row who can do things like that, and then hard running back rows like Murata and Jackson Ford. We've got the mix to be able to do it. It's just about doing it each and every week on a consistent basis. Can I just ask you about defence? Because it has been a problem in the past, but this year you've really ironed out a few creases there. From a skipper's point of view, just talk us through the defence and the commitment that the boys are showing this year. Yeah, it's well, that's what it is. It's commitment. There's also a side where we've learnt a lot under Webby and the other coaches of exactly what our roles are in certain situations, and so the players have really bought into that, the structured side of the defence. But then any defensive side, the key thing is working hard for each other, and I think that's something that we've really improved on comparing us to past years. We're working a lot harder and we're being a lot smarter in terms of decision making. So put those two things together, and you're always going to have an improved defence.
Hey, Webby, not many people are picking up on this yet, but in 2000, when we went on that run through the finals, and 2011, we had a really good forward pack.
Yep.
And the forward pack here is starting to really take shape. You still haven't had them all out on the pitch together. Where do you rate the forward pack, given that the competition's so close?
Yeah, I think our forward pack's as good as anyone. I think our best wins have been when our forward pack's gone after the opposition. I think when we've kicked in the corners, they've had line speed and they've really intimidated the opposition. I feel like we've come over the top of teams when we've done that. I think you then also throw in the skill level of Dylan Walker and Tohu Harris. So they got skill, and then we've got that toughness. And then we're missing guys like Mitch Barnett, who's very close, who probably play next week. So and Jazz Tabunga, obviously, when he comes back. So we're missing some quality forwards, but we've got some quality forwards on the field too. And we're bringing through some young ones, so like young Dimitri, and he's had his debut recently and played really well. Yeah, he's a good player. So I rate our forward pack highly, and I think we've had 6 wins. I think they've played a big impact in that.
Mate, what's the message this week? They've got quite a few out for Origin. What's the message coming back off the bye week? Guys are fresh, not taking this one easy?
No, definitely not. We sort of look at the Broncos as, at the moment, of like how they did in the past when they had that really strong culture. It looks like they're sort of getting that back, especially with Kevy at the helm, with him playing through that era. Anytime that they had all the Origin players out, the guys who came in, why their culture was so strong, they played even harder and they wanted to get the win for their team, and a lot of the times they did. So we're fully expecting that this week. It's not going to be an easy test because they've got a few guys out playing Origin. So we're going in ready for an intense game, a physical game, and ready to play a team that works hard for each other. They've done that sort of every week this year, and that, I guess that's a little bit like us in terms of the difference from the last couple of years. So yeah, we're expecting a battle out there.
SENZ, it's Kiwi for Sport.